And now we're going to move a little more. I love this exercise for weight control by Ann Collins. The first thing she says is see your doctor. See your doctor. Especially if you're 50 or more pounds overweight, because you don't want to do anything that would hurt yourself. Check your fitness level and make a plan. A plan. Here's another thing. A lot of people wear pedometers, and at the end of the day, they might say, I walked 2.5 miles. And here's what I'm going to say. You should put down your steps. I walked 4,600 steps. That's what you did, steps. Because unless you start here and walk 2.5 miles, it really doesn't count as, it's good, don't get me wrong, it's good to wear that pedometer and get those steps. But a true walking a mile is you start, you go 20 minutes, you get your heart rate up, because you can go over to here to this table, you can go over here, and you think, hey, I walked 2.5 miles today. You haven't gotten your heart rate up, you haven't really exercised for a duration of 20 minutes or more at one time. That's what we're looking for. And I'm saying to everybody in this room, I don't care how busy you are. There's 24 hours in a day, and I'm saying right now there's got to be 10 minutes, 10. Whether you get up at 6 and you say I'm going to get up at 5:50, or you go to bed at 10. I don't really like exercise right before bed. I don't advocate it. I don't think you should be, you know, riding the bike for 5 miles and hopping into bed and laying there and expecting to go to sleep. I personally think the best time to exercise is first thing in the morning. And Everett said something interesting, whether you want to or not. Dan always says, I run and I don't like it. I don't want to get up in the 5s every morning and ride my bike, but I try to make it more palatable by putting music on and singing at the top of my lungs. That helps. Sometimes I pray. Sometimes I think about what I'm going to Twitter that day. And none of you are following me on Twitter. All right, the first person in this room to follow me on Twitter gets a present next week. A good one, too. Okay. And you might say, how do I do that? You go right to the Pray It Off blog and you hit Twitter. It's right on there, Twitter. Okay.
You do it on the computer?
You do it right on the computer. All right. Oh, look, you're all a Twitter about Twitter. All right. Getting back to the exercise. How many times have you said, I don't feel good, I'm not going to go to work, or I don't feel good, I'm going to lay in bed. And then you say, you know what, I'm just going to get up and go. And then you end up feeling better. Well, you know what, maybe I didn't feel, I mean, on the rare occasion you feel worse and you dive back in bed. But what I say is, even when you don't want to exercise, you feel better. You get those endorphins going. You feel like, I did this. No matter what happens in the day, I rode the 5 miles on the bike, boom, they can't take that away from me. You have to have a plan. My plan for a month is to do 100 miles minimum. When I hit that plan, anything over it's gravy. Here's what I suggest. There's people who have exercise all blank. You're telling me you can't find 10 minutes in that day to start here and walk. All right, you might say bad legs, bad knees. You get 2-pound weights, you sit in the chair 10 minutes. 10 minutes. You turn the disco music on, nobody's home, and you start dancing. You pull a chubby checker and you start dancing. If you're going to start walking, you need good sneakers, because I had crappy sneakers and I got plantar fasciitis, and now I have very expensive inserts in my sneakers. Be careful. You have to have really good. And you have to understand that exercise is for life, just like eating less and eating less is for life. Also, classes. How many people go to Zumba here on a regular basis? Zumba. Only 2. Pardon? Boot camp. Oh, wow. Boot camp's great. There's all these DVDs here. Who's got a VHS? Low Impact, Jane Fonda. You know, even when I weighed 300 pounds, Richard Simmons loved me. I would put Richard Simmons in my I'd sweat to the oldies with Richard Simmons. You've got to do something. Here's an easy, stay with me, here's an easy exercise and stretch plan. You sit there and you move your neck. And you just relax. You start moving your shoulders. It even tells you, you start stretching forward. You stretch to the side. You just stretch. You stand here and you swing your leg up. You swing your leg back to the side. These are all things that you stretch your thighs. You stretch your thighs. You sit on the floor and raise your legs. Do something for 10 minutes. A little and often. And you know what? I used to have such trouble falling asleep at night. I used to take 2 Benadryl, and I just would feel like I'm so tense. I'm so nervous. I can't shut the voices of all the pressure of the world. Ever since Pray It Off started, and I'm eating better, and I'm exercising, and I'm so busy, I hit that pillow, man, and I'm out. I don't need any Benadryl. I'm out. God's helped me with that through the grace of God. Exercise burns calories. It raises your metabolic rate. Even when you're not exercising, your body remembers, "Ooh, Ellen got up and she exercised. I'm going to burn a few more calories." And, you know, people worry about building too much muscle. When I see you walking in like this, I'll say you better watch the muscle. I don't think anyone here is quite to the point where we need to worry about those muscles yet. Also, it's a great motivator. But listen to this. People will go to 2 Zumba classes and they'll say to me, "Ellen, why didn't I lose weight?" Don't forget Dr. Anbar. He used to do 45 minutes a day on his treadmill and never lost weight because he ate wrong. You have to do them both together. And listen to this. 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. Listen to that. 3,500 calories. If you go for a walk at 3 miles an hour, which is a steady, not crazy pace, you burn 280 calories for a whole hour. You will have to walk 12 and a half hours to lose 3,500 calories or 1 pound. So you might say, well, the heck with that. I'm not going to walk 12 and a half miles. I'm not going to, 12 and a half hours. But you see, it's still good for your body. It's good for your soul. It's good for the big picture. If you're out walking and communing with nature and talking to Jesus, you're not at the refrigerator going, "What'll I eat?" You need to do both. And you might say, well, what can I do? And it gives you a whole thing here. Sleeping, 55 calories an hour. Hey, think about it. We went to the flea market. We went to the flea market on Sunday with all my mistakes, and believe me, I make them. And we got up at 4:30, and I stood up for 8 hours, hawking those wares. And I burned 800 calories, just standing. I did 1,600 steps, just walking around, selling the stuff. Look at this. Water aerobics, 400 calories, an hour. Moving constantly, an hour. Bicycling, moderate. That doesn't mean you coast. That means bicycle. Now, I find that interesting, though, because I'll do 5 miles, and it'll take me 25 minutes. And that burns 150 calories. So even if I double it, it's 300. But I don't get bogged down in the specifics. I just know that I'm doing something, it's good, it feels better. Okay, and I am going to also talk about, I love this part, like having sex or going to Mass. Exercise benefits us most when we make it a regular part of our lives. I love how they put those things together, but it's true. And it's like going to Pray It Off. Those of you who miss a couple weeks, you know sometimes it shows on the scale. Okay, and now we're going to stop there, Bob, and I want us all